Then since tuple is not immutable, sorry, it's not mutable, it is immutable, there are not a whole lot of functions, built-in functions for tuple, but there are a few. Okay. So you can use LEM, so that will give you how many are there. So let's do length of T sub 1. And we know that there are 3 elements, right? 4, 5, and A. So 3 elements. So it gives you the length. Okay. And then we have an index function. So you start with the name of the tuple dot index. So this index is a function, or we call that a method, the method associated with this object T4. So this method will be applied to the tuple T4. So index is going to look for an element that is equal to T, so returns the location within the tuple of the given value. If it is not there, then it's going to give you an error. So T4 index, so that's the first one. Okay, that's let me do T4 and then that, so we can. So that's our T4. So T occurs twice, but index is going to give you the first occurrence. So that's your 0 right there. Yeah. So T4 is 0. So T, the index for T is 0. So if you say, I want the index of Z, then of course that's going to give you an error because Z is not there. Okay. And then count. Count is how many elements are equal to that. Okay. And then we have a function called type. So if you have an object, you don't know for sure whether it is a tuple or a dictionary or a list or what, then you can say type and then the name of the object, the variable name, then it'll tell you what type it is. Now functions that work only if the tuple, if the elements of the tuple are numeric. This is not going to work if you have a non-numeric element in the tuple. So max and min. So max gives you the maximum value, the min gives you the minimum value. Okay? So now I have 4 questions for you to do. So the first question is create a tuple from the string tuple example. How would you do that? So you have a string, and say we want to put that in TA. Of course, if you do this, it's going to simply put that as a scalar, a string. Okay. Now, if you want a tuple with the elements being each letter in this string, so what should you do? Tuple function. So use tuple and then like that. Okay. And then to check whether you got the right answer, you display TA. Okay. Right. So now you have the tuple. So each element of the string is added in the tuple as an element of the tuple. So how many times the letter E appears in the tuple? So here we just did that, so that's that. So T uppercase A, right? That's the name of the tuple. And then you count E. Okay, so there are 3 of them. Okay, now if you multiply by 2, remember multiplication is possible only if, so if you do this, it's going to give you an error because 2 dot is a floating point number. It's not an integer. So it has to be an integer, so it's going to just repeat, okay, twice. So you'll have tuple example, so like that. I think if you do print, it may do it. Yeah, if you do print, then it's going to print it horizontally instead of vertical. Okay, the fifth element. What is the index number for the fifth element?